So here's another typical libtard with his absolute diabolical lying. So they got spanked on the Ukraine thing and they can't admit it. They got spanked on the Russian thing, they can't admit it. We know the crooked FBI and Brennan, Mr. Potato Head, were behind the wiretapping of the Trump organization and the illegal FISA, which is Watergate on steroids. They talk about what Trump did is Watergate. Absolutely what they did. Let me tell you something, you lying liberal bastards. The very guy who set up the break-in in Watergate, he was a neighbor of mine. And you all out there can listen to this. Just look it up. John Caulfield. John Caulfield was the all-star Little League coach along with my father. And he had three wonderful sons, John Jr., Richie, and Chrissy, who are golf pros and were pretty good athletes their whole lives. As a matter of fact, the highlight of my baseball career was striking Richie and Chrissy Caulfield out, which was almost unheard of. I had this one moment. I tell you that because he was the guy that did the break-in, okay? He was an ex-New York City cop that went to work as a security guy and yada, yada, yada. And these creeps, these lying commies are trying to say what Trump did. This is exactly what Watergate was, save going to a guy's doctor for psychosis, which is what the Ellsberg thing was all about. Other than that, this is classic bugging, wiretapping, making believe they were listening to other people from other countries and Trump just happened to be there. What a bunch of bull, okay? And if there's not justice, if every one of those people, and I mean every one of them, Strzok, Page, Comey, McCabe, and the rest of the fire brigade, Mr. Brennan, all the altar boys, if they don't hang for what they did, if Obama doesn't get in trouble, okay, because they're all complicit, all of them, and especially the lying witch from Chicago and Arkansas, Hillary herself, who funded the whole thing to begin with. That's why Mr. Comey couldn't find his you-know-what in a urinal when it came time to going after Hillary. But oh, could they invent stuff about Trump? Because Trump was an outsider. And he was there to drain the swamp, which means what? To chasten the likes of them from their pilfering and stealing from the American taxpayer. And when you hear Strzok say, no, we're going to stop him, that's what he was referring to. That's why Lisa Page was so... They were scared that their gravy train, endless orgy was going to be exposed. But it's coming, okay? So when you listen to this creep, and I'm going to play it now, and then I'll give you a comment.
Let's pass that prescription drug bill that the House of Representatives passed, or let's pass those other measures. That would be a good night for the country.
The House has also tried to do a lot as far as election security, and it's gotten roadblocked in the Senate. As long as we're talking 2020, is it going to become more challenging for Democrats to talk about the importance of election security when look what's just happened in Iowa in the last 24 hours?
Well, obviously, we're disappointed in the fact that they didn't have a timely result. The most important issue, of course, is that they be...
So once again, the Democrats defecated on themselves. They want to run the country? This is the same DNC that was bankrupt because of Hillary. Bankrupt. This is the same DNC that allowed espionage by the Russians to hack their computers. The RNC didn't have that happen. You know why? Republicans are responsible. But, you know, the pot smokers, the 60s children that are still doing the frug and acting like they're politically adroit and capable, they're incapable of anything. They're children. They're children. Obama is the perfect example of the man-child. Talk a lot of hot air, accomplish nothing. But lie, cheat, and steal. That's what they're good at.
Tomorrow, look at the stock market today. He's going to ride high on the economy, on the stock market. What's your response going to be? Would you ever think he'd be running a victory lap amidst all that's going on?
Well, Stephanie, let me start with that question because the Senate of the United States failed in its own constitutional duty by not conducting a fair trial, a trial without a single witness or a single document. And so when the president comes in for the State of the Union address, looking forward to tomorrow, we need to remind him that when you have a rigged trial, if you don't have a real trial, then there's no vindication, no exoneration in the outcome. He will.
Rigged trial? This scumbag is claiming that the Senate rigged the trial. This scumbag. Not talking about the meeting in the basement of the Congress where Jerry Nadler had an inquisition in lieu of a trial, forbid Trump to have his lawyers, forbid witnesses on the behalf of the Republicans. They rigged everything. And this is a classic Bolshevik move. Accuse the victims of what you, the perpetrator, does. These people need to be summarily executed. And I mean executed, capital E. They are an existential threat and danger to this country. And they're upset that Donald Trump has put money back in the pockets of the working class people, and that he's elevated the employment numbers for every demographic in America, every minority, females. They can't stand it because they'd rather you have Obamacare and eat gruel like a good Bolshevik.
Claim that. But this was all a fixed, rigged process, the United States Senate. So,
Senator, I hear you, and I watched all the day. I watched every possible day there was. The president's nearing his highest approval ratings, and tomorrow Mitch McConnell will likely say this is over and done with. Are the actual American people who are working day in and day out, putting food on their table, trying to get their kids to school, going to pay attention to those important details that you're talking about when the president's going to say, I was exonerated?
No, look, I think in the end, Stephanie, when we get to these elections, people are going to be most focused on their daily lives, right?
You got it, pencil neck, and let me tell you what's going to happen. Landslide. Donald Trump is going to win in a landslide. Go remember what happened to Mondale. That's what's coming. We are going to sweep the Congress. We are going to fortify the lead in the Senate. And you little pricks are in serious trouble because you have sown the wind, and here come the whirlwind.
What's impacting them in terms of their kids' schools, in terms of their retirement and health care. Those are the issues that the campaigns will be fought about. And I will say, as the president comes into the House of Representatives tonight, he's coming into a chamber that not only worked to hold him accountable, but also the chamber that has passed a huge amount of legislation important to the American people, including gun safety and trying to reduce gun violence. You talk about kitchen table.
Gun safety? You want to take gun away from law-abiding citizens. That's what you are, you putz. Why don't you make some more gun-free zones? We haven't had any shootings lately. And it's so funny to me that every time a shooting happens and a lot of people get killed, it's in a gun-free zone, like El Duce Cuomo. I just found out today that the son of one of my accounts was murdered by one of the bail releases from El Duce Sfacin Jr., Andrew the Runt Cuomo, Fredo's big brother. Andrew! Yeah, this is what we get. See, these people, they have feelings, and their feelings are not to be countervailed by logic and facts, because they have feelings. So it doesn't matter how many people are working, how well the middle class is doing, how upward mobile the lower classes in this country have become. That scares them. And they know they can't bring any more interlopers across the border, aka their new constituents. So when you listen to a rat bastard like this, or any one of these wealthy political entrepreneurs, because they can't do anything in the private sector, they're as useless as you know what on a bull. I've heard enough of this creep.